Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, and we're going to have some fighting words. So it's Sunday, and the fight is over. We have a unified champion at 140 pounds, which is Josh Taylor. And I'm just going to jump right into it. I said it'd be a unanimous decision, and it was a unanimous decision. I said certain things will play a role. Certain things did play a role. And I'm just going to jump into two things in particular that played a big role. One was Ramirez being so active. The upside to being active is, you can get off more. You become loose and fluid quickly. Your sweat's rolling and everything like that. But the downside is you get tired quickly as well. So the first knockdown was more like a flash knockdown. They had like a quick little exchange, a little skirmish, and exchange first, then a skirmish, just to get back in position. He comes in on Josh. Josh is transitioning off of the ropes, but because Ramirez likes to throw a lot of punches, he's still committed to the attack. As opposed to just simply resetting, he recommits to the attack. And Josh just clips him with a short overhand right. It was effective. It knocked him down. So that was the first thing. Just like I said, the upside to being so active and being, so involved in every round is you can get your punches off. You can get loose quicker. In the end, if things go your way, you have a lot more accumulated punches. But on the other end, you're just susceptible to a lot of counter shots. In which case, neither one of these guys were ever going to win like an elusive award. That's just not how they fight. That's not who they are personality-wise. They like to be in the thick of it. Both of them kind of have that Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti kind of vibe where they'll kind of just stay in the fire and kind of slug it out. The second knockdown. Now, if you remember my prediction video, I mentioned that one of the weapons that Josh Taylor was going to use was an uppercut. And that's exactly what he did to get that second knockdown. And it was a clean, sharp, crisp uppercut. And it was perfect, picture perfect. You can hear the sound. It just a nice little crack. He went down. He didn't even follow it up because he knew he hit him perfectly, got him right in the button. He took him right down. After that knockdown, in all fairness, in all honesty, I don't feel like Ramirez ever recovered from that knockdown. I'm not saying he was totally out of the fight. He was still active. He was still punching. He was definitely still trying. He was doing what a champion does. And let me just take a brief moment to give him the credit that he deserves. That's a true champion. That's a champion spirit, a champion's heart. Got knocked down twice, jumped right back up. Got right back on the horse, and he continued fighting, continued rumbling. He knew he was down. The whole fight was close. And like I said in the prediction video, I said, I'm going to give the first half of this fight to Ramirez. Just because of the way he fights. He's a quick starter. He jumps in there. He gets it going. But the latter end, it's going to be, the key role, the key parts of the fight were going to be the middle round. They were going to determine the end of the round, the end of the fight. They were going to determine that. Ramirez definitely kept going. He never gave up. He believed in himself. And shout out to his corner too. I don't know exactly all what they were saying, but they were definitely trying to rally him, But sometimes when you have guys who've been knocked down, once you get a knockdown, you definitely look to the judges like you're losing. And sometimes you can see that discouragement on a fighter's face. Another credit to Ramirez was he never showed visual discouragement on his face. He never had a look like, I'm losing the fight, or I'm just going to do the best I can. Every round, he tried to come back in the round. Every round, he was fighting for those belts. It wasn't like he was just existing. A lot of times you'll see a fighter and they're losing, especially after a knockdown. They're losing and they're just kind of existing at that point. Like, the inevitable is coming. I'm going to lose my belts, or I'm going to lose in general. And I just want to do or show enough of a showing to say that I was a man in this square circle. As opposed to saying, well, if I'm going to stay in this square circle and say that and show that I'm a man, I might as well go out guns a-blazing. And I felt like, Ramirez definitely went out guns a-blazing, and I credit him for that. And that's the reason why I believe he will be a champion again someday, because he has that in him. Just because I'm down does not mean I'm out. There have been many champions who've gone down. Muhammad Ali went down. Sugar Ray Leonard went down. Tommy Hearns went down. Duran went down. Tyson went down. Holyfield went down. Lennox Lewis went down. Everybody's outside of Floyd Mayweather. Everybody's been down. And people have gotten back up. So credit to him. Credit to him for continuing to press forward. And credit to him just as a fighter, and credit to him as a showman. For me, as a fan of boxing, I got to see that. I got to experience his champion spirit. So credit to him. Also credit, of course, to the new unified champion, Josh Taylor. Just an awesome job. Again, like I said in the prediction video, I just felt he was too durable. He has just a grit to him. He doesn't mind being in the fire. We learned that in the fight that he had with Regis Prograis. He doesn't mind being in the fire. He doesn't mind getting a little battered up, a little bruised up. He doesn't mind. It's not gonna change his mindset. Much like what I just said about Ramirez, Josh Taylor has that same mindset. He has a champion's heart, a champion's mindset. And that's what separates champions from just regular fighters. It's not always so much a skill level, because quite frankly, there's a lot of skilled fighters, and some of which are more skilled than some of the individuals who are holding belts. Sometimes the separation is this, and that's it. The mind and the heart. I refuse to lose today. I will not be losing to you today. I will definitely not be losing to you, and I will not be losing today. That's basically what it is. That's basically what it is. That's the reason why we've seen in the past people get knocked down, get up, and win. We've seen people in the past have a broken hand, broken jaw, broken nose, or something like that, and still win the fight, because they have a strong one of these and they have a big one of these. That's the difference. And I just knew Josh Taylor, on top of those two things, he's a big dude, and he's very durable. I strongly believe he'll probably finish out his career at like 154. I mean, he's pretty big, so that's my thoughts on where he's going to end up. But while I'm at it, I also want to talk about, not to discredit the fight, but the fight is over. So as always, this is boxing. Once the fight is over, the question is, well, who's next? Who's next? And Josh Taylor did mention Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford also said, I'm game for Ramirez, I'm game for Josh Taylor. Now we're talking, levels. Now we're talking levels. I will be doing like a video fully on Josh Taylor and Terrence Bud Crawford, but that would be very, very interesting. Very interesting. We have seen Terrence Crawford in there with bigger guys, Jeff Horn. We've seen him in there with some pretty big guys, Kell Brook, bigger guys. But Kell Brook, he's definitely been battered up in his last couple fights prior to that fight with Terrence Bud Crawford. So although he's a very skilled fighter, I'm going to just X him out right now to go into what I'm about to go into. Josh Taylor's big. Terrence Crawford isn't the biggest guy in the world. To be honest with you, I really don't know how big Terrence Crawford can get, because he's always in shape, to be honest with you, which is a great thing. Terrence Crawford was talking about want to say like 2 months ago, he was talking about how he wanted to move up to 154 because he wasn't getting any action from the guys at 147. You know, everybody with the PBC, everybody with Al Heyman. He wasn't getting any action right there, so he's just thinking, listen, I can go up to 154 and I can get some action. But now we have Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor is more than open to going and fighting Terrence Crawford. Now, it's going to be interesting where they say they want to fight. You know, since Taylor just unified, there's really nothing else for him to do at 140. So if he would like to go up, I'm cool with that. It doesn't make any sense for Terrence Crawford to go down. I believe he can do it. I definitely think he's disciplined enough. But it doesn't make any sense for him to go down since he's already accomplished everything he could accomplish at 140. Josh Taylor, the same. He just now accomplished everything that can really be accomplished at 140. I mean, he has the other option of just staying there and being the king on the throne and just fighting off all the would-be contestants. Okay. But if you want more of a challenge, you go up here with a guy with a bigger name and a guy that kind of seemingly looks like a boogeyman, like nobody really wants to fight him, and I don't know, people always kind of find their way to, like, I'm not going to say weasel their ways out of fighting him, but he's definitely not getting the biggest and toughest of competition. And it doesn't look like there's a train of people running to go fight Terrence Crawford. So I think that's going to be very interesting because now you have two guys who are around the same size. Terrence Crawford, like I said, has definitely fought bigger guys before. Jeff Horn, Kell Brook. Okay. But of this caliber, Jeff Horn did not win against Manny Pacquiao. So I really don't call him a champ. He just kind of stumbled onto a belt, in all fairness. He did a lot of cheating, a lot of holding, a lot of rabbit punching, a lot of that stuff. And he kind of stumbled onto a belt. Kell Brook was not what he used to be. So therefore, it's kind of hard to say what Terrence Crawford can do with a real welterweight and a all-round solid fighter and competitor. Not just solid in skill, but big in size and has a lot of this and has a lot of this. That's going to be the difference. So that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see when these two match up, if they match up. I would love to see these two match up. And I mean, personally, I would suggest that the fight would take someplace in the UK. I feel like both fighters would get much more out of it if it were to take place in the UK. I believe Josh Taylor has a bit more of a fan base and a following. Terrence Crawford, I just think he's just one of those guys who just doesn't get the amount of love and respect that he honestly should get, especially here in the States. You know, I'm always a big speaker of someone. I would just say a lot of American fighters don't get a lot of love in America. Not the way foreign fighters get from their countries, which is one of the reasons why I love the UK and I love Mexico. I love Puerto Rico. I love Cuba. They love their fighters. They support their fighters. And then with America, it's just like, well, it depends on which one of our guys is fighting. As opposed to, it doesn't matter. He's one of ours. So, unfortunately, I would say the fight would be a lot bigger if it were in the UK because Josh Taylor definitely has quite the following, especially now. I mean, it's been a while since a Scotsman has done what he's done. So, congratulations to Josh Taylor, and I look forward to doing more videos on him. But you all tell me what you think down below. As always, like and subscribe.